Hi guys, this is Iman Sheikhansari. I'm back again with a video about weather files. As you might know, we're working now with Ladybug tools, and Ladybug tools is a plugin for Grasshopper. So I open up my Rhinoceros and I launch my Grasshopper, and we will delve in more to Ladybug. As you see on the upper corner of my ribbon, there is a Ladybug tab, and in this session, we will cover the import tab from Ladybug tools. Uh, I dropped the component Ladybug download weather file. What it does is download EPW files for us. And how it works, we should give them the weather URL and it would download EPW file. So what is EPW file? If I want to delve a little bit deeper about this subject, EPW file is energy plus weather file. And if you go to energyplus.net/weather, you could find a weather file for different region. And as you see, there is a great map that you could work or click and download weather file. For example, I go to Asia and I choose Iran and, for example, Tehran, Mehrabad. I've downloaded all the file and saved. As you see, it's saved on my desktop. So I open it, and you see it contains different sort of file: energy plus weather data, rain, design degree day, stat file. I will open up the EPW file since you could get the sense of how these data will work, and I will show it. How to open it? Just right click on it and open with Notepad. As you see in my Notepad, it contains different strings of data, which is all corresponding to a specific hour of the year. At first, there's references about location, what actually standard that is based on, what are the typical days, and we have a single strings of data for each hour of the year that's sorted. So what actually Ladybug Tools does, it categorizes this data. But after this really hard work, there's more easy way to work with EPW file, and that's here, Ladybug EPW map. As you might know, all the Ladybug tools components are written in Python. So if you double click it, the Python window will pop up and you could see the code and how it would work. So there's a great thing about Python components, and if you wait a little bit on the text that as you see there is a hint and it write bool. So if I double click and type bool, you see boolean toggle will pop up. So I wire boolean toggle, double click on a false icon, and what it does for me, it opens up a page that is the word map of EPW or any sort of weather data. And I could do let's go for another city like Washington DC, and I click on the red button. There is a copy link to clipboard. Washington DC, Oregon, copy link to the clipboard, and here I could go to prompt, input, panel. What the panel gives us is the ability to copy text. So I double click on it, paste the link, and click outside of canvas and connect it to weather URL. And boom, what it does, it downloads all the weather file that we downloaded from Energy Plus or any other website, and you could have now access to it. So as you see, those EPW files contain different strings of data, and here we have Ladybug import EPW. So I bring it to my canvas and connect EPW file to EPW file. And now you could see that all those strings of data now been categorized to the responded values that work for us. Those 8,760 values are corresponded to the every hour of the year. So we have this great data. What could we do with this great data? So let's jump a little bit forward. There is a visualized weather data and called Ladybug Hourly Plus. I put it in my canvas and it asks for data. I connect dry bulb temperature to data, and let's see my canvas. I double click on my top and you see the dry bulb temperature for all the year for Washington DC from the TMY3 weather data with the exact number and everything in it. Or I could check my relative humidity of Washington DC and I see the. So there are minor tips for working with Ladybug tools. As you see here, there's underscore in the first letter for weather URL, but here we have at first and end of the word an underscore. It means that it's optional and it is necessity. When it is necessity, you should always wire components to this node in order to work. So as you see here, there's an underscore at first, so it was necessity, and we wire EPW file. So let's delve more in depth about different components under the import tab. We have import location, which asks for EPW file and gives this location. If you want to see what's inside the component, just go to prom, input, and brought up a panel and wire it. It says it's Washington DC, the latitude, longitude, and the elevation. Everything is out there, in the time zone, of course. Let's go for Ladybug construct location. Now you see here, the name is optional. Everything is here optional. So if I wire the panel, you see latitude equal to 0, longitude, time zone, and elevation. What I could do is just brought up another panel. You could do it with double backslash, and I could write, for example, Tehran. There is a minor thing about how panel work. If you put enter, the panel would not usually work because it thinks that you're adding another line of a string. So after you type what you want in a panel, just click outside the canvas. And now when I toggle the name, you see Tehran appear here. And I could do this for latitude, longitude, and so on. But there are other things like Ladybug import DDY. And as you see here, we have DDY file, and there we go. What it does, it gives us the design days for Washington DC. You could work with it, but I usually prefer, if I want to work with design day, I rather to work with the stat file. As more, comprehensive, it has lots of other data. What it does, it's really cool. It gives you the ASHRAE zone code for A or Köppen zone, which is CFA, and you could easily, get the sense of how the weather is. There are other components like Ladybug, deconstruction design date, import design date, and data to legacy, and so on, that we will cover it in other session. So let's work a little bit with weather data and how it works. In the next tab, we have analyze data, and it gives us how this data is built. So there is a great thing in this episode I want to cover is Ladybug deconstruct data. What it does, I wire the dry bulb temperature, and it gives me the header, which is said there is a key you could read. It's dry bulb temperature, the time, the city, country, and the source of data. But more importantly, we have value here, which is corresponded to every single hour of the year. And you see our list start from 0, so let's end with 8,759. And you could easily do some really simple mathematical operation like, I don't know, let's find, I want to go with a little bit different. Bond component, what it gives us, it says that Washington DC dry bulb temperature is between minus 13.9 degrees Celsius to 36.7 degrees Celsius. So we get the sense of how the frequency of weather data would change during the year in Washington DC by just having the bonds, the mean and max of it, and checking frequency with data. In next videos, we will cover a lot of cool features that Ladybug tools would bring us. Hope you enjoy it, and comment below any suggestion for next videos or anything you want to mention.